Okay, here we are. It's a Monday. Yeah, the weekend. We had a weekend. You know, you everyone asks each other, "How was your weekend?" And I don't normally do it. Weekend's a weekend. It's 2 days. It's 2 days of the week, and there's also Monday to Friday. Nobody says, "How was your Monday to Friday?" Well, I suppose people do say, "How was your week?" Listen. I'm not going to be different. I'm not going to be contrary, and I'll stick to the cliche about my weekend. Yeah, I don't normally talk about my weekend. I had a terrible weekend, horrible weekend. And if you have a terrible Friday night, I had a horrible Friday night, and does that bode? So does that? If you have a horrible Friday night, does that bode for the rest of the weekend? And I try to be positive. I try to say no. The rest of the weekend could still be saved. Let me switch off this damn phone. Sorry about that. Very unprofessional. Yeah, the weekend. Yeah, it wasn't. The rest of the weekend wasn't terrible. But you know what? It's all relative. We mustn't. It's all relative. Just be happy. Just be grateful you're not. You're not in Kabul, in Afghanistan, and you're trying to get out of Afghanistan. Everyone's looking at the Kabul airport, and I saw a little article. It's the other area that the media is not concentrating on is the Afghan-Pakistan border. There's also lots and lots of people that want to cross into Pakistan. I mean, Pakistan, like Pakistan's so wonderful, but compared to Afghanistan, I suppose, what choice do you have? Oh, horrible, horrible, horrible. So the weekend, Friday night, we have there's like an intervention. So the wife and the daughter, they have their little pre-meeting because there was a bit of tsorus where the daughter's cell phone, she was banned from using her cell phone because she was being punished for something trivial. Then they got talking, and then I got called in. I'm now involved, and my daughter starts telling me that I'm a bad father, and I don't take any interest in her, and and then the wife says I'm emotionally detached from the daughter. I'm emotionally detached from everybody. So at the moment, it's been Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. Now we're on Monday. I've been in denial the whole weekend. Been in denial about all of this. I think so. I thought I was a good. I thought I was a good father. No, I know I'm a crap husband. I mean, I've accepted that again. I accepted I'm a bad husband quite a while ago. But, but if you're a bad husband, does that mean you're also a bad father? Turns out yes. And my wife put the two together. I thought I could be a bad husband, but I thought I could still be. I thought I am a bad husband. Let's just accept that. Um, but bad father. I didn't think I'd be called a bad father. I wasn't. I wasn't ready for that. I thought I was a good father. Turns out I'm just a good. I'm a good au pair. I'm a good au pair. So I changed the nappies. I did the bottles. I did the taking and fetching. I did all the I did all the au pair work. A good au pair does not a father make. Apparently, turns out. So I'm emotionally detached. Do you? I mean, do you feel emotionally detached from me? I mean, you look at me. Do you think I'm this emotionally detached person? So perhaps look. I'm folding. Look at my body language. If you're watching me on the YouTube, folding my arms. So now let me try relax. Do a bit of stop being defensive. I must. So I'm still a little bit in the. I'm still in the denial phase. Maybe I'm slowly turning around and accepting. But I don't know. I think these 9-year-olds. I think part of it is a manipulation, playing the one parent up against the other. Because I do my best. How was school? What did you learn today at school? Did you speak to so and so? Who did you play with in the playground? If she's looking upset, I say, "What's upsetting you?" I thought I was, I thought I was doing okay as a father. Oh, we know a husband, I'm a failure. I know that. Mm, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think. People say you only got one child, it's easier. But actually, I think having one child is more difficult. If you have 2 or 3 or 4 kids, they all play with each other and they socialize with each other, and maybe they won't notice that you're a crap father. I mean, now that I think about it, my father, there were six of us. Like I mentioned to you before, I thought my father was a newspaper. In those days, they had these big newspapers. I thought my father was a newspaper sitting on a chair, and I just saw his feet. That's what I mean. He was behind a newspaper for hours, for 2-3 hours every day. Then on a Sunday, I didn't see him for most of the Sunday. He went to go play golf. Golf every Sunday? I mean, was that necessary? I mean, have you tried to play golf? What a horrible game. Very difficult to play. So that's the situation. So now I must examine myself and see if I can I don't know, be more emotionally connected. There you go. So I'm fine. I'll make dinner. I'm like the waiter. I'm like the waiter at the Beacon Isle, except without the view of the sea, without the seagulls attacking your food. There you go. I'm turning 50, as I mentioned before, 50. And my friend Mark phoned me last night. He says, hey, let's get together. We'll just go out for dinner with our other friend Wayne. We'll just go out for dinner on Wednesday night. That's my birthday. And then my daughter, this morning, she says to me, what are we doing for your birthday, Daddy? This is the daddy that is a horrible, terrible daddy, but she wants to know what we're doing for my birthday. So, tell you, mixed messages, eh? So I mentioned to her the dinner with Mark and Wayne, and then I said to her, why don't you join us? I invited her. And then this morning, I mentioned it to my wife, what are we doing for your birthday? And am I invited? I said, I didn't think you'd be interested. Now the plans have changed. Now, despite we're living in the middle of a pandemic, now it's turned into like a mini little get-together. Very, very, very small. No family, just very small. Just Mark and Wayne and maybe one other friend. Maybe two other friends. Very small, very small. So don't be upset if you're not invited. It's very small. It's enough people that will just fit in the kitchen. Kitchen table's got four chairs. Maybe we'll add one more. There'll be like 5 people in the kitchen. That'll be it. We've all been vaccinated. I had my second vaccine yesterday, actually. I'm worried about Lawrence. We're going to invite Lawrence, but he hasn't been vaccinated. So do I tell everybody else, there is Typhoid Mary, or should I say COVID-19 Lawrence? He's coming. Should I warn everybody? I suppose, is that the responsible thing to do? Then we'll mask Lawrence and he'll sit in the corner, like far away in the corner. And then everyone else will do their thing. So I did my second vaccine yesterday, the second vaccine of the Pfizer. I highly recommend Sandringham Gardens in Johannesburg, 84 George Avenue. Give it a go. I think they offer the Johnson & Johnson vaccine as well, I think. I'm actually seeing my mother today at Sandringham Gardens. That's where she lives. And I'm taking the helper, one of my employees. I'll take her along. She'll get her vaccine as well. Kill 2 birds with one stone. Except in the middle of a pandemic, you don't want to use that expression kill. So, but you know what I mean. So the big 5-0. What does one think about it? Normal people under normal circumstances, people have big bashes for their 50th. And we even if, let's be honest, even if there wasn't this pandemic, I would still be doing but basically the same thing. Maybe a few extra people, but that's the one positive thing about this pandemic. I can look more. I'm looking more normal than the rest of the. I'm looking normal to the rest of society. If there was no pandemic, it would stand out more. That I'm just like Rahmanis, just like a little thing. So now we're going to get little platters, and maybe a falafel platter, maybe a little shawarma platter. One or two people are vegetarians and vegan, and so we'll just have a vegetable platter as well. Oi, excuse me. Wow, just a little catch up because this has turned into diabetes month. Quite a lot of August we've been talking about diabetes. Just a little thing that I don't think I mentioned before, a little fun fact about diabetes, which I saw this morning, and I picked up on it a few last week, but then I forgot to mention it to you. Listen to this. 50% of people with diabetes don't know that they have it. And in Africa, that number jumps to 60 to 70%. So 60 to 70% of people with diabetes in Africa don't know that they got diabetes. And that goes back to our friend Gerald. Gerald, when I was dealing with Gerald last week, I basically said to Gerald, you are diabetic. Oh, for crying in a bucket. There you go. You are diabetic. And I had just heard this, there was this silence. So Gerald's, look, I hope Gerald comes around and he gets out of his denial soon, and then we get a bit of feedback. We just need to know what's happened with Gerald and his diabetes. Has he gone to the GP? Is he getting taken care of? And but we're not gonna dwell on that. What's happening in the news now? There's this thing in America. This Hurricane Ida. Now, Hurricane Ida is hitting the coast of Louisiana, 200 kilometers per hour hurricane. Now, it's a grade 1 hurricane, and Bernice looked it up. Grade 1 is actually the smallest hurricane. You get up to grade 5 hurricanes, which are bigger. So this Ida isn't really so big compared to other hurricanes. But it seems to be the main story in America at the moment. It's like the biggest story. I mean, is it a distraction? Are we trying to move? Are they trying to distract us away from Afghanistan and Kabul? Sure. Who knows? So yesterday, Joe and Jill, El Presidente and the First Lady, they're at Army base in Delaware, and 11 coffins with the remains of the U.S. soldiers. They had a bit of a ceremony with the flag. Notice I said 11, when actually 13 U.S. soldiers died. So 2 of the families didn't want to take part in the ceremony. Who knows why? Too emotional, too devastated, too upset, making a political statement, making an anti-Biden statement. They don't like Delaware. They can't travel, don't want to travel. Losing a child, it's probably the most devastating thing to ever happen to somebody. So I can sort of understand. And, the one thing as well is that, do you want your child's death to be part of some kind of a political statement that maybe President Biden would be making? Because let's face it, whenever, whatever a president of any country, but in this case America, does, it's always going to be a political statement. Just the way he walks down the stairs, if he trips and falls, that's a political statement. He looks like a buffoon. Is he old? Is he incompetent? He doesn't know how to walk upstairs? Can he run a country? It's the way the color of the suit he wears. Yeah, I mean, remember the story with Barack Obama? He wore a tan suit. That was the biggest scandal of Obama's presidency. He wore a tan suit. To this day, I don't understand what's wrong with a tan suit. Matlock. Remember Matlock? The lawyer Matlock? He wore a tan suit. He had the same suit every week. Did you not watch that? He was the lawyer. Anyway. I didn't watch the whole ceremony. I just read little clips of it. So I don't even know the details. What's the news? What's the news in South Africa? 2 instigators in court today. They're up on charges for the loot, being responsible or being behind or being one of the masterminds or the influences of the looting and unrest that happened last month in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng. And they found these people. One of them is a 36-year-old woman. She was arrested in Leondale. Leondale is just to the east of Germiston. You go along the N3, it's just beyond Germiston, heading towards Durban in the Gauteng, Johannesburg area. So 2 instigators are going to appear in court. More arrests are imminent. There were arrests 2 weeks ago or 2 weeks after the initial unrest. There were arrests. People appeared in court, but I honestly can't remember. And then that financial manager from the Department of Health, was it the Department of Health? Oh dear, now I can't remember the department. The woman who was assassinated, Dia Karan. 7 suspects are appearing in court today. They were arrested yesterday or the day before in connection with her murder. But you see, they the soldiers. They are the killers. They did the dirty work. Who is behind? Are we going to get to the bottom of this? Who is behind the assassination? Who wanted her dead? And that is the thing. So what do you? So that's the crux. That's the crux of it all. And are we going to get to it? So they haven't given detail. They said there was a tip-off, and I always found it amazing. How did they find these people? It's the same with the 2 instigators regarding the looting and the unrest from the previous story. How did they catch these people? I want all the details. That's what I'd like to know. Yeah. We passed the 80,000 death rate in South Africa towards the end of last week with COVID-19. 81,595 people have died of COVID in South Africa. And it amazes me how, and I've mentioned this before, the way these COVID denialists or these anti-vaxxers or these anti everything that's got to do with trying to curtail this pandemic, their arguments are so twisted and upside down and gaslighting. And you know, one of the arguments that really I've heard a couple of times, one of these people will say, and I've heard them say it, only 81,595 people have died. So what's the big deal? This is not a pandemic. But don't you understand? Only 81,595 people have died because of the measures that have been taken. Social distancing, washing hands, wearing masks, and then more recently, the vaccine. Those measures have been implemented to fight against the spread of this COVID-19 virus. So you can't twist it around and say, only 81,000 have died, therefore what are you making it? It's so crazy. That argument is so bizarre. It's such a crazy argument, but people make it. I was just on Twitter this morning, and one of these guys, he's one of the main players in this thing. I forgot his name the other day. I called him Hudson. Nick Hudson of Pandata. So he's on Twitter, and I'm supposed to... So like he says, he uses the word throttling. I've been getting a lot of throttling on Twitter lately. In other words, I think he was suspended for a short period, or he was threatened to be suspended from Twitter. I don't know, something like that. Can you recommend other platforms besides Twitter? So then one of these cohorts, one of these buddies recommends 3 or 4 other platforms. One of them was Telegram. I've heard of Telegram. The other three, never heard of it. But here it is. What is the point, Nick? Twitter is like the main one. Like, if you want to disseminate your nonsense, Twitter's the place to be. There's no point being on those other platforms because you're playing. What is it? You're singing you're singing the hymn to the same choir. What's next? You're talking to people who are converted to your side already. So what's the point? And it's like, if you're not on Twitter and you're going to be on these other funny things, kind of doesn't make any sense. Sympathy, no. Don't have sympathy. Freedom of speech. I've got freedom of speech. This is the freedom of speech. Please do me a favor. Kush me and tochas. Kush me and tochas. Do me a favor. Oh, if you've got a really fancy Samsung television, like one of these flat screen plasma big deals that you can't even fit in your car. Cannot fit in your car, and you couldn't even get it into your house. It's so big. If you've noticed that it's not working, just in case you don't follow the news, you have a looted television. So your neighbor or somebody you know sold you a Samsung television. You got, what an amazing deal. Like, you didn't think, gee, there was recent looting and unrest. Wow, now suddenly my friend has got this amazingly cheap Samsung big plasma TV. Wow, what a deal. What a deal. I'm so lucky. Oh, but it doesn't work. Well, sorry for you. That's a sarcastic sorry for you, not a real, genuine sorry for you. Your television was looted. I know we talked about denial and acceptance this morning. You might be in denial. You've had this TV. I don't know whether your TV was shut off straight away or whether they just did it this weekend. The news only came out yesterday or Saturday that these Samsung televisions have been switched off remotely. You can't use them. So now, what do you do with your Samsung television? Automate. You can use it as a monitor. There you go. Mind you, maybe you can't use it. Maybe you can't even use it as a monitor. You can use it as a mirror. You could blow dry your hair, GHD your hair in front of your Samsung television. What else are you going to do with it? I mean, you can't fit it into your car to take it somewhere. You can't return it. Hello, I've brought my Samsung back from the looting. No. So what are the uses for a Samsung television? A mirror is the most obvious thing that I've suggested already. Ironing board? No, I do not suggest an ironing board. It could be a table. It could maybe be a table. Oh, no, not a table. A lazy Susan. So if you've got a big dining room table, right? You put the Samsung on its back with the screen facing up, and it's your lazy Susan. You put your, I mean, if it was me for my 50th birthday, if I had one of those, not a bad idea. And you put the falafel, you put the accoutrements or whatever the what you call it, those things, the anti-pastas and the starters and your hors d'oeuvres, your dips, chips around the Samsung TV, and you can spin it around gently. That makes sense. I think it's a fantastic idea. I think that's the thing to do. Very good. So, as I told you, I had the second vaccine yesterday. And, I went with my friend Dory, and she said to me, Damon, thank you very much for picking me up and taking me. We went for the first vaccine 6 weeks ago as well. And she said it was great. And I said to her, next pandemic, you and I will do this again together. But then then never mind the next pandemic. You're gonna have to get boosters. It's inevitable. We're gonna need a booster. And this whole thing where people are having to get boosters, I think it is the Israelis started first with the boosters, and then I think they started in England and are about to start in America with the boosters. The advent of the booster, some of these anti-vaxxers are using the fact that you have to get boosters, that's their ammunition, in inverted commas, against vaccinations. Really? Oh, these people are so stupid. So what? You get a booster. People just don't appreciate, the science, the miracle of the science of this vaccine is just not appreciated. Really, it's not appreciated by a lot of these people. It's just crazy. And I was having an interesting conversation with this friend of mine. And she said to me, Damon, why are you getting so angry about these people that don't want to get vaccinated, these people that are spreading disinformation about the vaccine? It's their problem. They let them die. They'll get ill. Yeah. I said to her, no, it doesn't work that way. And I'm actually surprised she said this to me. It's about ending this pandemic. It's not about ourselves. It's about everyone. It's about the collective. If half the population refuse to get the vaccine, this pandemic is never going to go away. That is the argument. That is the problem. You understand? And it starts with radio broadcasters, media people, politicians. They have to set the example. So that's why I was so shocked, and I forgot to mention this last week. I was just amazed. I don't like to always criticize the DA, the Democratic Alliance, but I can't help it. They always putting their foot in it. They're always doing something stupid. So last week, this is like early last week, Monday or Tuesday or maybe Wednesday the latest, the leader of the DA, John Steenhuisen, I've called him Johan in the past. That was a mistake. John Steenhuisen was getting his vaccine. Now, John Steenhuisen is 45 years old. So do the maths. I can't remember the details, but he could have got the vaccine done a few months ago. Or he was only getting his vaccine done last week. So why did you wait this long? But to make it worse, hello, I'm only getting the vaccine done this week. The DA turned it into a marketing thing, a publicity thing to show how good the DA was. Look at our leader getting the vaccine, but he's 45. He should have got the vaccine done in July. And they put it on Twitter. This is what the Johan Steenhuisen or somebody from the DA said. They showed a photo of John Steenhuisen getting the vaccine. He says, endless lockdowns won't stop the spread. Vaccines are safe and effective. Let's get our jabs and get SA working. And it says, the leader of the DA got his first Pfizer dose today. Have you? Protect yourself and those around you. Register now. But why did he only get it done last week? You're the political leader. You should have been, as soon as the vaccine was available to you, that's when you get the vaccine. You don't wait weeks and weeks and weeks as the leader of a political party that wants to be taken seriously. You only got the vaccine last week. It's pathetic. Paul McCartney, I forgive. Paul McCartney, yes, it would have been nice if he, as a huge celebrity, to spread the message. He's 80 years old or he's 78. He only got the vaccine about 2 weeks ago. I thought that's really weird. But you know what? He's not the leader of a political party. Don't know what else to say. Oh, I didn't think this would happen in my lifetime. I thought the man would die. Siran. Very unfortunate name. Siran. He assassinated, 1968, he assassinated Senator Robert F. Kennedy. Now, Robert F. Kennedy was running at the time for to be the Democrat candidate in the elections back in 1968. And Siran killed him, shot him dead. And he's been in jail this whole time. He's applied for parole 15 times. And he's 16th time lucky. Siran is 77 years old. So he appeared before the parole hearing for the 16th time. They obviously said to him, "Will you ever assassinate again?" And he probably said, "No, no, no." We don't know why. I don't know. Maybe he must. I don't know why he assassinated Robert F. Kennedy. And it reminds me of that scene in that movie, Shawshank Redemption, where the character that Morgan Freeman played, Red something, he appeared before the parole board, and he had been in jail for 30 years, or almost 40 years, and he gave this speech about if he could talk to that boy himself 40 years ago, I would say to him, but I can't do anything about it, and I just don't give it. You want me to say I'm sorry? I can't do anything. And I don't give a damn. Boom, and they stamped released or accepted or whatever. So Siran, he appeared before the parole board. I don't know what he said. He obviously said, listen, because 1968, I had an itchy finger. I don't know. That was the politics at the time. I'm now 77. I won't assassinate again. He's been in jail all this time since 1968, right? So he's 53 years old. Sorry, he's been in jail for 53 years. Something like that. 53 years. So, look, they're not going to just let him out and he walks out and that's it, hey? You know, maybe he'll go to a halfway house. He needs therapy. I wonder what's happened for the last 53 years. I mean, has he been going, have they been doing, excuse me. Don't know what they've been doing with him for the last 53 years. They decided he's no longer a danger to society. Is he allowed to do interviews? Is he allowed to do this or that? Obviously not allowed to own a gun, I assume. I assume he's not allowed to own a gun. I assume he's not allowed near any democratic convention or any political gathering. I assume he's not allowed to enter or join any political party. What else? Yeah, they'll control him. Look, his health may have played a factor. Health might be really, really bad. But funnily enough, these guys who spent 50 years in jail, their health is actually pretty good. Pretty good. Because they're eating very plain, you're not eating chocolate and bad food for those 50 years. So he's probably the irony is that he's probably in better health now than if he didn't go to jail for the last 53 years. So there's a positive. I wonder if he has any family still around. Any family that even know him or are aware of him, that or care about him or looking after him. Is he gonna be released from jail and his niece or nephew is there to pick him up? Fregmia, who knows? Anyway, I almost forgot to mention a bit of feedback. YouTube, if you can find me on the YouTube, you can subscribe. The YouTube's very nice to make comments, very nice, and then I'll even answer you. So somebody sent a couple of comments. Says I don't look like I'm about to turn 50. Well, you need glasses. I mean, I did a little video. I did a little video in my car with my with the dog. I took the dog the other day, and I was videoing the dog, and I accidentally videoed myself. And my wife commented, "You look horrible." So I must look at least 50 if I look horrible. Then he says, "Why have you stopped belching? The belching is very nice. It shows that you're authentic and you're down to earth." And then the reason I haven't been belching because I'm not as gassy as I was at one time. I've lost a bit of weight, And you know what I've done as well for the last 2 weeks? Last 2 weeks, I'm not eating bread. I've stopped eating bread. And I think the bread creates a lot of reflux. And the reflux is the gassy, burpy thing. In fact, I've just thought of it now. That is exactly why I'm not burping as much as I used to. There you go. And then what else did he say? What other feedback? No, that's about it, hey? I think that's a good time to stop when the phone starts ringing.